Okay, starting what looks like turn 4 here in Carrier, and I've got some worries that maybe some things should be landing for the Japanese that look like they're not landing until next turn. I feel like I can't launch a strike from here. I've got 5s listed everywhere, which means all my planes are kind of out. I have to look at the turnaround time tables too, because that may affect things. But anyway, because my carrier commitment's up, I no longer pull from this cup to see every turn to see if the Japanese are going to launch a plane from forces that I don't know otherwise. And I don't roll for the forces that don't have carriers identified. I've got all the planes, all the air power that I've accounted for, that I expected is accounted for. So I do have, it may not be absolute what's out there, but it does seem to be, it's going to be pretty close. So the Japanese moved forward with some of their forces, obviously, based on the chit pulls. The U.S., tough calls here. Oh, these guys are over. First of all, I ran into a problem where I tried to divert at least one of these up to this here. I think I've got them pretty badly hosed, even the Ryu. So I want to get somebody up here to hit this force, and they'll be closer to return or whatever. It didn't happen. It's tough to get that to happen. You have to use a special, no doubt, a chart, which I don't feel like, there it is, in order to determine that. And it's a fairly low chance of doing so, and it gets worse and worse the longer they're out there because it's harder to contact them. My Lexington sent its bombers that were due to land, sending them this way. They've got a chance of making it. I'm keeping the cap above, in part because, damn it, if I don't fix the Lexington, I'm screwed. I have no way of cycling 2 carriers worth of planes through 1 carrier. This thing can only hold 24 steps. And that was not obvious to me, but this is the marker that determines that. This can only hold 24 steps, and that means, since this was probably holding a full load of 22, I'm just not going to be able to keep everything on board. I'm going to have a really tough time if this thing doesn't get fixed towards, and it did get fixed 1 level, towards cycling even what I've got up there coming down. Now, I've taken some losses, but overall, yeah, this is going to be rough. On the bright side, I'm pushing some of these guys forward. I'm going to launch another strike, and I've got some guys who landed who will start cycling around. We'll see what we can get flying and up in the air, but it's kind of like juggling at this point in the game. Alright, well, that's phase 1. Alright, well, that was the end of phase 2. That went very quickly, actually, mainly because I have a lot less to worry about at this point. Rolls for the carriers didn't generate any additional airstrikes. Now, I don't think they could have gotten any. I had a couple. One is, all the planes that they have revealed are out. But I'm not sure that's a guarantee. I haven't followed the procedure yet. And I got rolls that said, hey, they're not searching for a target. So I called it short there and didn't follow the whole procedure. Got some PBY searches that didn't work. And I did manage to shift Airstrike 4 over here, which will allow me to hit this next turn. The problem with this sucker is he's got there's a number of forces in there, so I may not hit the one I'm aiming for. I may not get the carrier. I may find garbage or something, and that may complicate things a little bit. It looks like next turn is going to be a little bit more complex. I've got these planes heading here. I looked here to make sure I got the ordering right. I couldn't launch these guys because I landed these last turn, so lowering actually seems to happen after the launch phase, so I wouldn't have a chance to send my planes up again. That's fine. I do want to get these off the carrier, though. I don't know where they're going to go. They may try to launch a strike or something, simply because this is not clearing up. I've still got a level 2 inoperative deck there, and I don't know. You know, plus this thing is a sitting duck out here. There's a really good chance that it's going to get hit still. In this third phase, nothing exciting for the Japanese, but my airstrike hit the location. I got a wrong target. Now, the only applicable things were the target that was in here and this one. It ended up being this one, and I found, well, it started out as a small surface fleet, works its way all the way up. It turns out it's a light cruiser and 5 destroyers. I had to countermand one of the destroyers because it's too early for it to show up, so I grabbed a different one. But now I guess I'm going to bomb that. This was on a second result, so I had to increase my air time, in fact, for that. I might as well hit something, you know. It's not what I was looking for, though. Alright, we'll see where it goes. Well, I discovered a bunch of... it was supposed to be a heavy cruiser group, a small heavy cruiser group. It ended up a light cruiser and a handful of destroyers. I think I mentioned that already. That pumped the surface commitment all the way up, though. I had to look that up because, you know, I was just chunking through the chart to get up to there. I didn't really draw the chits or anything. But yeah, the particular thing I had has a surface commitment, it looks like, of 7 on it, I think. Oh, maybe it's 3. Uh-oh. In which case I cheated, like, badly, because I removed counters and I gotta try to figure out where the hell they were. Oh boy. Nope, that's the commitment value there. I don't know what this number is. Over here. That's not specified. Number of ships, maybe? I have no idea. Anyway, the Japanese are basically out of ships. I've got the carriers, I've got the surface ships accounted for. It removed a couple of counters from the map, one over here, one over here. I'm pretty sure there's no combat units going into the Solomons, which means I could conceivably break my fleet, and that might not be a terrible idea, especially with this thing, and send a task force without air power. I think I've got the edge right now. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, I've got one carrier kicking over here. Of course, I'm probably cheating, and that's why. I've got this group where the carriers are knocked out. They've got a screen. This and this will no doubt have screens, but I feel pretty comfortable if I knock those carriers out. All these don't carry anything. In fact, they should probably, oh well, the transports do. They should probably just be removed, but I'm not willing to do that because I don't understand the rules full well enough to admit that that's a possibility. It may be the case that the end of day factor, these guys being on the board, can cause more troops to appear there that wouldn't be there otherwise. That would be kind of wanky, though, I think, so I don't really like that. Anyway, I think I'm done with this phase and moving into the fourth phase, but I forgot to move my U.S. carrier and do my repairs. And here I'm pushing to the beginning of turn 5. I've repaired the Lexington. Of course, I've already sent planes heading back over to the Yorktown. That's a shame because they could land next turn at this point. I do still, though, have the cap up on the Lexington, and that needs to land. And see how much of that I lose. And then I've got other problems too. When I don't have that cap up there, what's that going to do? Ouch, that's going to be a serious problem. There may be rules that allow me to keep the cap up there, but make a test against landing it. I'm not sure. I have to look that up. Over here I've cleared the flight deck on the Yorktown because I do have an airstrike 16 turns out in the air. I don't know how that's going to work out, but we're going to see some interesting stuff. I'm going to load this one up because I think next turn is going to be a little richer in a few ways. First of all, I got carriers to hit. But for example, this guy, he's no longer located. And it's the counter underneath that counts. This guy, yeah, shit, no idea where he came from now. The damn map popped. Is now only, oh no, he's located. But flipped, because the detection last turn didn't count. But this group 11 here, I've lost track of that carrier, and that's a problem because I can't launch anything for it now. But I do have something targeted on it, which will still be using that question mark. This airstrike here, I'm sorry, this airstrike is targeted on it, and that's going to use that. Like I said, I'm going to load this one up because I think next turn is probably going to be pretty hefty. All right.